not all back movements. You're not gonna see me do any on this exercise, on this whole fucking workout, where I'm going. Just rock and move. Just move. Let your back be pliable and move through ranges of motion. All right, guys. You guys want to blow up your back? Saw I blow my back up. You want a mass building back workout? Try this. You want bulging lats? You want Tyrannosaurus traps? You guys want lats like Dorian Yates with half the work and half fucking genetics? You want to figure out how to not work hard, get big? You want, this is the shortcut channel. Laura is, of course, the best photographer in the world, but a second close second is Jason Breeze sent me this picture of me, and I'll even show you the conversation so you guys know that I don't both smoke up my own ass. He's like, throwback. I was like, who's that? He's like, who's that young kid? I said, you photoshopped that. He's like, took the color of the background from what I remember. So he's saying he didn't Photoshop it. But I immediately told him he Photoshopped it. So trust me, I don't believe that I looked like that. Anyway, assuming it is real. But I think it was after I won nationals. Like once I got my pro card, I think it was, or it might have been after I did. Is that a reach? I think it might have been after I did the New York Pro and did horribly. But anyway, it was around that time. It was in Toronto though, I remember. But yeah, and I posted the picture and all these people were like saying what they're saying, and I actually showed the picture to my current girlfriend who was not with me at the time that picture was taken. She's never seen me in competition mode, or when I was in bodybuilding shape or anything like that, right? It's just honestly a blessing. I was not a person that you'd want to date at that time, I don't think. Hence why things didn't work out with other people. But yeah, so she said to me, she's like, oh my God, like, how old are you in that picture? And I said I was probably like 29, 30 in that picture. And she's like, oh, like, look at what you've accomplished at that time, because she's around that age now, right? And I was like, and my first reaction was like, I was a bum. I was literally a bum. Like, I was broke. I had no fucking sponsor. Or I had a sponsor, I think, but they were like fucking not making shit from it. And I was just like a lower tier, like average pro guy, right? And I was just like, so it's funny to me to see people's perception, because they see a picture of you in shape, or like they deem to be like something so incredible, and they think, oh, you must be at a certain point in life, or you must be so proud of what, or like in that instance you were like at the height of something. It's like, no, I was at the bottom. So I literally like full disclosure, had like no fucking money, was working, I think I was working at, like, I was training people and I was bouncing at strip clubs, and I was like doing all this shit even back then, just living paycheck to paycheck. And like, but that one picture makes people think like, oh man, it's so cool, you were so jacked. It's like, yeah, I was also like I said, a bum. And she kind of pointed out to me, she's like, well, you know, like, even if that is true, that's what you think of what was going on back then, which is like, I'm a realist, that's really what I was. I was living I was sleeping on the floor of my mom's fucking apartment, trying to save money to be able to do anything, right? So it's like, she's like, but if you hadn't done that and invested that time and train and learn how to train and like build yourself the way you did, you never would be doing what you're doing now, or be able to pass on information, which is true. So in essence, it was an investment, but it's like, that's why I tell people, like, I make these videos saying, like, you guys, bodybuilders, this shit runs out, because it runs out, and it can run out like that, like it'd be an injury, it could be like a fucking health issue, it could be like a catastrophic event in your life, like the passing of a loved one, anything can stop, right? So it's like, you gotta have a plan, and that's what I'm saying. Hopefully you guys are investing, like, you're investing a lot of time in the gym and a lot of time in yourself. Can that investment carry over to other things? Can it, like, you teach people? Can you like guide people on the journey you were on, or does it carry over into like you have a job currently and that job will carry on past bodybuilding, right? So it was interesting to me to see her perspective of what that must have been like in that time. And I was literally probably the most unhappy I'd been at that time, because I was just focused on competing, and depending on when that photo was taken, if I had just gotten my pro card, I was probably pretty happy, but I was also immediately disappointed when I got my pro card, because I was like, well, what now? It was like, I didn't get any money. Like 6-star, which was Iovate, which is a fucking shithole of a company. If you guys are fucking watching, you suck. But anyway, like they fucking dropped all their athletes to sign big time athletes who ended up like doing jack shit for their brand, because their brand's crap now and it's crap then, right? So it's like, you know, I was getting nothing from them. I was like, and then I went on to be with Animal. Animal was a great company, but their pay was shit. I wasn't getting anything from them, because again, as in the instance of all big brands, they're going to pay their top guys as much as humanly possible to keep them relevant in the sport, not knowing that like the guys that are below, that are the feeder athletes, or like the people who work hard, or people who identify with these people, are actually the ones moving your product and like keeping your brand reputable. So if you sign Mr. Olympia X whatever, or like contender guy whatever, and he does nothing for your brand, yeah, it's like like we said like in another video, you're collecting roster people, but they're not moving the needle. Like no one really gives a shit, because it's like, one, people can't identify with that. They don't, like, they're not going to be Mr. Olympia level physiques or on that level ever in life. So it's like they're not really identifying with that going forward. So they can identify with a guy who's lower level and works hard like them, is trying to come up, or has maybe just made it. You know what I mean? That's kind of where people's heads are at. So going back to like where I was saying, like I'm grateful for, I wouldn't change what's happened to me or like the path I've taken, because it's led me to where I am now. But like, just understand, when you guys see pictures of these like guys and girls, and you may be removed from the sport or not know these people, and you're like, oh man, like they look so good, life must be so great. It's like, I can tell you from firsthand experience, in my case that was not the case, and I can tell you from knowing other people and even people currently competing, their lives are in shambles. Financially, mentally, like emotionally, their lives are in shambles, man. So don't look up to these people. Like, yes, you can aspire to having a physique like them, but like most of the time, you're not going to want to be like those people, or even don't compare yourself to them, because comparison is the thief of joy, as we know. But it's also like, you have no idea what that person is going through. They're like a mental head case. They're a mess financially, like literally scrounging to get like training clients, and like every penny they get from their sponsors like allocated to like what they need to live for that month. And if that sponsor runs out, they're fucked. So just, you know, be happy on the journey you're on, and continue to pursue this sport because you enjoy it. And don't ever do this sport other than for the pure love of it, because it paying off in the long run is a long shot, guys. Trust me. Like, I never thought that I'd be sitting here talking to a camera, that a video would be uploaded to my YouTube or my Instagram, and there'd be thousands of people, let alone hundreds of thousands of people watching my shit, right? So this is random as shit to me. So just understand, like, stay on your path, enjoy the sport, and do it because you love it. Give some people some tips and tricks, and you know, we spend a lot of our time on focusing on calves, forearms, abs. Yeah, neck training is always a must. I actually think I need to start training my neck again, because my neck is fucked. And you know why it's fucked? Because I'm always looking at my fucking phone.
Yeah.
I literally will fucking, if I go to the barber, and Adriano, if he's watching, can attest to this, he tips me back in the chair, and like, you know, there's the headrest that comes up, and they're like, they'll do their like razor, like when guys get their haircut, they'll trim under your neck, like hot towel. I'll be in that position, and he'll have to like bring me up with it, because I can't physically lift my neck forward. Like the muscles on my neck are shot. So if I lay there and I try and like pull my head forward, it's like being right back down. It feels like my head is like 3,000 pounds.
So good.
So I'm gonna have to start fucking like doing harness work, like off the back and like neck. I might get that thing, put a clip in it. I'll send you the link, where there's like, they have this, it's like a sphere around their head, and they put a cable to it, and they're like, it's like neck strengthening for MMA guys and like sports people. I'm gonna start doing that in the gym. Never heard of this place, but I heard it's good. Never been there. Some people watch my videos like, oh man, I'd love to train with you. Where do you train? It's like, right there. It's like in every fucking video. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? What are you watching? What are you looking at when you're staring into my eyes like lovingly when you watch the videos or something? What the fuck? Are you missing that in the background every second shot? Where are you located? For some reason, everyone thinks I train in California. Really? Random people write me like, I'm in San Bernardino. How far is that from you? Like, motherfucker. 5,000-6,000 kilometers? And a fucking border crossing? Stop walking by. On cable work, even if it's like close grip cables or the weird ass adjustable handles, I don't know, mag grips and all those other prime grips, you guys are all do yourself, girls too, do yourself a service. If you just understand that when you do your pull, I don't have to get here and pull again right away and build this like momentum of like lessening my distance every time. Because there's no way you guys are pulling from the same spot. You're trying to keep tension and you're trying to pull from like right when you think that tension's building the most. But you'd be better served to let things relax completely and do another pull. Keep your chest up and your head back, chin down, and do another pull. Then trying to get these sick rapid fire reps, especially because all of you start doing these rapid fire reps. Remember, get to like rep 8, it's like here, and then all of a sudden it's here, and all of a sudden it's here. You know what I mean? We're creeping our way back. You're not really staying in your spot anymore. So allow that sync to happen so you can actually create that path of movement again. Instead of just like, I trained a girl yesterday, she trains with me fairly regularly. We do back a lot of the time. She knows, so it's not a surprise for her what I'm telling you guys. She's very like rapid fire. And as the set gets harder, the hips are moving under, like till they're like here. It's hard for a lot of people to keep this hip position, this of shoulder in front of hip, right? This hip always wants to move this way because it wants to get more power to pull the weight. It's like we don't want to get more power to pull. We want to work on the range, sit on the muscle, and when the muscle exhausts itself, we don't pull anymore. So it's no longer our goal, like you said before, that the range of your first rep is highly unlikely to be the range of your last rep if you're doing things properly, right? Muscles fatigue, so. The same thing when you guys and girls are pulling ropes, whether it's like rope swing downs or rope pulls. When I'm pulling this, I'm breaking my elbow. If I don't do anything else and I just do this pull, this is the pull. It's my elbow bending and my hand cracking, but I'm adding movement to it. So all I did was this, but I just lifted up when I did it. It's not, or I'll pull these shoulders. To me, you see people's hands turn and you see them literally try and pull the rope to them. Like they try and physically turn the rope in or turn the rope out or curve it, right? It's not about that. Just hold on and let your wrist be pliable. Awful machine. No like bad, not meaning to badmouth hammer strength, but their back equipment. Aside from that pull over there, this is horrible. It's a horrible machine. The angle is just off. If you feel your lats on that, you don't feel your lats. You can find the angle on the one arm. Like you can find the angle on the one arm for fucking pretty much any fucking back machine. But this machine is so straight down into you. Do you see what I mean? Like, even if you're one of these strict guys who just wants to dip your shoulder here and pull this down in, there's nothing happening here. I just pulled I'd have to literally put the seat so fucking far up so that I can create like some type of strain when I pull into here. And even then it's like rhomboids and like rear delt. I'm just squeezing in here. Even if I do this bullshit you guys do, you go like this. I don't feel anything till right fucking there, which is again where the tension is the least, right? So, unless you find this angle where you lean back here and you just drop it, even then I can't get far enough back because I'm hitting my fucking head. So I'm rocking, like where's the, I don't know who created that pull, but If your shoulders are doing this when you pull, ladies and gentlemen, like we talked about a million and two times now. If I'm sitting up here with both of these and say I'm on both here, even if I'm just doing one arm, if I have to pull to a certain point and then to get it further I have to go like this, just bye, see you later. Just make your money back and sell that fucking thing. Any gym that has that machine, get rid of it, guys. Invest in one of these Panada rows, upper overhead rows, or even the hammer strength beside it sucks. One of the things people get trapped into buying equipment because they think that because it has a reputable name, and it's like this was advanced back in the day, it's no longer advanced. It's like Chrysler Concords, or sorry, Chrysler 300s used to be the shit, right? Because they look like fucking Bentleys. They sucked, and they sucked back then, and they suck now. But at one time, everyone bought them, right? Because they wanted to look cool. It's the same with equipment. Everyone was using that hammer strength fucking single arm row back in the day. Everyone was getting huge. Yeah, there was no Panada. There was no Atlantis stuff that was good. There was no fucking Nautilus stuff that was a better option. That's, you know what I mean? You used what you had. Doesn't mean it was great. Well, I developed a back on it. It's like, yeah, because you fucking pulled enough weight on it and you did enough shit on it that you developed a back. Could you have developed a better back on better stuff? Probably. I've resorted to doing a lot of one arm stuff because I'm literally, I think, a month out from my shoulder replacement now for this fucking piece of shit right here. So when you're doing one arm stuff, I just did it on the other side, but this is my bad side. For guys who have shoulder issues, think about doing this when you do it. You can cheat, right? So I don't need to get up here and my shoulder hurts in this range and I gotta find where it is. Like, I'm gonna cheat to the angle I want to set in on lat if you have trouble getting there. I'm digging into this foot, into this pad as hard as fucking possible. So like I'm pushed up into here, trying to break this thing and snap it out of the fucking clip here. So I can posture up higher. So if I'm postured up through the leg and through the floor, my posture in my upper body is easy. If I'm limping my upper in my lower body, and I try to stay up tall here, I can't get any leverage, right? So if I posture up here and I set here, it's the same thing we talked about before. Ear away from shoulder, don't be here. Just be here and rock. If you're gonna do this lean stuff, you better compensate by opening up this part of the body and laying back. So this is still an angle. I'm closer to this side, but I'm still down here. So I can pull here. But I just stay straight and rock. So every time I pull, it's like my chin is punching back into me. So it might relax, and it punches back through, pushing head down. Sorry, pushing head back and dropping shoulder down. And rocking. People undervalue and underappreciate like how much your head placement on back matters. And that's the missing link for a lot of you guys. And you think I'm fucking crazy when I'm hitting people's heads, pushing back against their head, pushing their chin down. But you see when they do it, they're like, not all back movements. You're not gonna see me do any on this exercise, on this whole fucking workout, where I'm going, just rock and move. Just move, let your back be pliable and move through ranges of motion. So you can get a little flex through here, rock out. Just allow the back to fucking breathe. If it doesn't breathe while you're training it, and you don't let those other muscles assist other muscles, assisting other muscles, assisting other muscles, they never develop. So when you hit shots, things are incomplete. When you hit shots, you hit your shots by hitting parts of your back and keeping them tight, and the other parts are flaccid, right? They don't fucking do anything. I would venture to wager and put a good amount of money on the fact that, like, if you're doing back properly, you should never have to squeeze reps in. And I would venture to guess if you watch guys who have great backs, except for like, you see Dorian did a lot of like, he would get the maximum extraction, then he would like kind of sit on it. He wouldn't be like, you know what I mean? Like trying to pull for more depth. The contraction would get to a point and then it would be here. Then you might have someone like push it a little more. But it's like, he was a very rare case, right? You see other guys who train their back, they're very flowing. Guys who have great backs, their backs move dynamically, right? So it's just, it gets into this whole other point I have, back to band shit, back to like people leaning and pulling and doing these fucking, pulling the barbell shit, like the fucking hammer strength row and other fucking machines where they're pulling at the least amount of tension and they're fucking flexing as hard as they can. It's like all you guys don't realize, but you're trying to make working out easier. One, you're trying to equate it to like the poundages I use equal a better physique. So therefore that's another like dumbed down way of thinking about it. Like, 5 plates on this machine today, moved it 4 inches on a range that has no tension. Or you're slapping bands on everything. I mean, like, let's make this more effective for us. You can use heavier weight and like move the weight load easier. It's like, that's not the point. It's never been the point of this sport, is to make things easier. We're not trying to make things easier. We're trying to make them more difficult and do them well. So if you can't do the difficult things well and get better at them over time, then you're never going to improve. If you're constantly giving yourself an aid all the time, it's a band, it's a fucking leaning, it's an angle, it's a fucking, you know what I mean, trapping things down so like it's not as hard to move the weight anymore. Like, it's all you guys taking this like shortcut road. And a lot of your physiques are shortcut to looking physiques. You're glaringly missing body parts. Like glaringly, it's obvious to anyone looking at you. So you may look good in a t-shirt, walking around the gym in your tight tights and your short shorts, and you're fucking wandering around here with big fucking arms and you're this and this, and then you get on stage and we're like, whoa. Like, now that we see your physique, like, what the fuck was all that heavy lifting for? What was all that grunting and screaming in the gym? Because it's not transferring over to visual, like in this sport's visual, it's not visually transferring over to development of your physique. So unless you're finding some intrinsic value out of like, I feel better about myself in life when I lift heavy. Like I go home and I sleep better at night and my relationships are better and everything in life is better when I lift heavier. Lose it, dude. There's no one saying you can't lift heavier. You lift heavier indicative of how much you need to stimulate the muscle. So I don't just keep lifting a plate here the rest of my life. But some days if I'm connecting well, I'll only need a plate and a quarter here to really sit on my lat to cause damage. Maybe I'll move up to 2 plates and a quarter, but like it's not my goal to get here and do 3 plates on each side every day. Fucking be lazy as shit and get out of the gym and write it down and tell people, look, I did it. I did my work for today. I got the numbers you told me. It's so far from what bodybuilding is. It's like, you guys have no idea how lost you are and how much time you're wasting. You're wasting your time. Especially these guys who are in the formative years, like when their physiques are really like on point and they have like the ability to really put on muscle, the gear's in, the food's in, everything's happening the way it should. You're wasting valuable time, man, on bullshit. Just so you can look back and be like, you know, I never did fulfill my potential, but I did fucking horribly barbell row 6 plates aside a couple times. Because that's all I have to show for my shit. I don't have no Olympia wins, no pro wins, no fucking top 5s. I don't have anything to show for it. But I can tell you I have that picture, and I can tell you I lifted a shit ton of weight, more weight than any of you. I would bet watching this video, like 90% of you. And look where I'm at. A month out from a shoulder reconstruction, fake hip already. You know what I mean? Mike's just saying that. Mike's just fucked up. He just says that because he's a hater and blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm trying to help you. Or you can be in the hospital bed next to me getting your brand new hip and we can like have a good laugh about it. I'll still give you a fist bump if you squatted 8 plates. You know what I mean? I'll still give you your props. But at the end of the day, it comes down to like bodybuilding comes down to visually how it looks on stage. Some of the most heavily muscled men who have ever graced a bodybuilding stage, and women, do not lift the way you think they lift, guys. I hate to break that myth for you because it's all you know is like heavy, 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 push, 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 push. It's like they lift intelligently and they lift intensely, but they don't need all the weight that you guys are using. Like they'll literally look at you like, how much did you do? Jesus, man. Like they can't even fathom even thinking about doing a set at that weight. They're like, whoa, man, like chill out, dude. Like we've forgotten history and it's like people only remember what's been going on in bodybuilding for like the last decade. But there's history to this sport. And everything that's new now, guys, was once old. It's just, you're just bringing, it's like they remake movies, right? There's the Batman, he was Michael Keaton, then it was George Clooney, then it was fucking Christian Bale, now it's Ben Affleck. Like this is the same shit. Like if you guys only know that up to fucking Christian Bale, you don't know that Michael Keaton and George Clooney and all these and guys were Batman. That's history you don't know about, right? It's the same shit as like bodybuilding. You know as much as like Bumstead. It's like you know that he knows more about the history of the sport than you do, and all you know is him, or all you know is like the guy you care to focus on, whether it's fucking Nick Walker or whoever the fuck. Like these guys all know history too, though. So if you're not diving back into history like they have, or looking into training methods like they have, you're losing out, right? And there's experts in every generation of lifting. There's experts, right? There's this guy's got it figured out, this style of training, dog crap, fucking this, that, you know what I mean? Like, this is the new way. And everything comes and goes. And it fades in and out. All that bullshit comes around, but only the real stuff lasts, right? And that's just volume, working out hard, overstimulating the muscle, really engaging the muscle, and having some fucking great genetics and knowing how to use your juice. That's what it comes down to, no matter how you slice it. You can fucking do sled pulls and fucking do all this bullshit you do. But it's only gonna come down to those things, right? An easy way to create tension on a curl, a lot of guys like, they're here, they just keep their head down, rock like this. Is if I constantly keep my chin up, or I keep this level, or this tension so that my furthest tension point is my hand, and I feel this pull from my neck down my arm. So I'm not killing that line of tension, I'm creating it more by keeping my head up and my head almost over to the other side and rocking up through. So it's just my hand that drops. I'm keeping tension on that line of my arm down through my chest, up through. So it's the same with barbell. I don't want to fucking curl. If I'm gonna stand here with this, I don't want to go here and then put my head down and be like, you see these people, like chicken clucking. So if I put my chin up, I let my hands hang as long as I can, and I keep my chin level and my head pressed back, then I can rock wherever I want and be here. My hands fall back down without me. Up through. If I snap out of the bottom, I don't do this. Which is shit. Don't do it.
Do it.
Peacock, like, bark, bark, bark. There you go, fucking chicken head. Remember that used to be an insult?
Chicken head.
I shouldn't say that. People call me a boomer.